What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the 14th May edition of Smackdown, as well as the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including the wrestling world reacts to the death of New Jack, Becky Lynch looking ripped, trouble with AEW, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. As always, we won't recap the show, but just provide you with the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, beautiful booking for the Swiss Superman. And much as Roman Reigns has excelled as a heel, Cesaro has risen to the occasion as a babyface, showcasing the usual in-ring skills fans always knew he had, but adding an extra layer to his character by portraying a determined babyface looking to prove he has what it takes to become world champion. He really is the little engine that could. Cesaro has been providing the fans with some profound promos, and the WWE's booking of him as capable of defeating Roman Reigns has only added to the illusion that he'll beat him. If Cesaro were to defeat Reigns, which seems extremely unlikely, it's hard to think of a better build to a championship win. The WWE has been building the Swiss Cyborg up gradually over the last 5 months and capitalizing on the fans' interest in what Cesaro can really do. Number 2, taking the tag titles off a tired team. Did you hear that? Yeah, that was a collective sigh of relief as the WWE finally took the Women's Tag Team Championship off Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. It's a move the WWE should have made a long time ago, and now they have the opportunity to build a tag team division back up. While no one is holding their breath waiting for this to happen, it's always encouraging to see a title get a fresh start, especially since Jax and Baszler's second reign seemed to be all about breaking them up. On paper, Jax and Baszler are a formidable team, but Jax's reputation for hurting opponents, coupled with the talented Baszler being criminally underutilized in a tag team, made this a problematic tag team from the start. Now that Natalya and Tamina are champions, they should put Baszler back into the singles division and rebuild the Queen of Spades as the badass she was on NXT, or even the badass that she was when she debuted on the main roster. Now it would be best served by putting her out to pasture, but fans know better than to expect this. What's more likely to happen is that the WWE will have Baszler feud with Jax for the next few months. Number 3, Roman's riveting remarks. Roman's work continues to improve as the Universal Champion cut another excellent promo last night, questioning Cesaro's status as a title contender and attempting to deal with the family squabbling caused by Jimmy Uso. Reigns' promos were never his strong suit when he was a babyface, but it's progressed so much in less than a year, helping to elevate him into a true top-tier main eventer. Reigns has the charisma, the in-ring skills, and the ability to cut riveting promos, the 3 traits every promoter dreams of. While they need to book him a bit less repetitively, i.e. endless Jey Uso run-ins, that's not his fault and his career has never looked better. Number 4, Jimmy Uso is nobody's bitch. Now, Jimmy Uso stood tall last night as he again made it clear he's his own man. Rather than appeasing Roman Reigns, Jimmy went so far as to say he and his brother Jay could replace him as the head of the table should they win the Smackdown Tag Team Championship, and Reigns was to lose the Universal Championship. They're adding another dimension to Jimmy's allegiance by having him protect his brother without swearing fidelity to the tribal chief. With any luck, they won't go with the predictable route of Jimmy pretending to be opposed to Reigns only to turn on Cesaro. Number 5, anticipating an awesome match. A good work by the WWE setting up what should be an awesome match for next week as IC champion Apollo Crews defends the title in a fatal 4-way against Zayn, Owens and Big E. While the case can be made that this match should air at Backlash, it really should have, it's good to have a pay-per-view quality match on regular television, and they deserve credit for announcing it a week ahead of time rather than just throwing it out the same night. This is a great way for the WWE to build Smackdown as destination television and get ready for 28th May when AEW Dynamite airs against it. Number 6, Shinsuke Nakamura, the king of strong style. A King Nakamura not only has a nice ring to it, but it's an excellent way to build a feud between King Corbin and the king of strong style. Corbin has been on the WWE's back burner of late, as has Shinsuke, but a program between these two could help both men and turn Corbin's crown into an unofficial title, reminiscent of King of the Ring storylines where kings would defend their crowns against wrestlers. But that was the good. What about the bad? Is number 1, Much Ado About Nothing. Now, we aren't going Shakespearean, but it's hard to get excited about Tamina and Natalya's Women's Tag Team Championship win. Now, don't get us wrong, Tamina is putting in the best work of her career, so much so that Bayley recently praised her in an interview, but at this point, so what? Tamina is 43 and she's been wrestling on the main roster since 2010, with the tag titles being a championship besides the 24/7 title. Looking at her championship win, you can't help but wonder if it's the WWE's consolation prize for years of poor booking. While Natalya has been used far better, the case can be made that this is also the peak for her career, as it's unlikely that the 38-year-old superstar has any world singles gold in her future. And number 2, adding Jimmy Uso to the tired formula. As much as the WWE Universe has been enjoying Roman Reigns' run as a heel, the weekly segment where Jey Uso takes on one of Roman's challenges has become more than monotonous. It's become awful. Sadly, having Jimmy take Jey's place does nothing to freshen up this tired trope, and it only reminds fans of the WWE's inability to craft fresh segments for the Tribal Chief on Smackdown. As good as Roman's promos or matches have been, his Smackdown appearances are predictable, and the WWE needs to shake things up. Here's a hint: Jimmy Uso aligning with Reigns isn't the way to do it. There was nothing ugly about last night's show, and in fact, a good lead-in for this Sunday's pay-per-view. The Blue Brand has some excellent matches in store for Sunday, and the WWE did everything they could to hype them up. Now, speaking of Backlash, be sure to check out our recap and analysis of the show this Sunday. Let us also know what you thought of Smackdown in the comments down below. Now, let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at the wrestling world reacting to New Jack's death. The wrestling world is still coming to grips with the death of former ECW star Jerome New Jack Young, who passed away from an apparent heart attack on 14th May at age 58. Here are some tweets from various figures in their industry, including many of New Jack's fellow wrestlers from ECW, and a number of WWE wrestlers. Mick Foley tweeted, "Rest in peace New Jack, such an intense performer and a riveting interview. He made it very easy to believe." Bully Ray commented, "As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left, cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone," putting the lyrics of Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio. Taz tweeted, "Fearless and passionate performer, my condolences and prayers to the family of New Jack." Tommy Dreamer said, "There will never be anyone like OG Gangster New Jack, fought with him, against him, always straight up with me, prayers to his family." The Blue Meanie mentioned, "Absolutely gutted. You were a friend, you were a brother, you were a true outlaw. You looked out for me, you protected me. I love you, Jerome. Rest in peace, New Jack. Thanks for being real with me." Sean Waltman mentioned, "I couldn't help but love New Jack." Mickey James said, "I've shared a few locker rooms with New Jack. He's always so cool and respectful to me. You have no idea how grateful I was for that. Truly saddened to hear of his passing. Sending his family, friends, all his loved ones so much of my prayers, love and strength." Various promotions including the WWE, AEW, Impact, Combat Zone Wrestling and ICW tweeted their condolences as well. Next up, Becky Lynch is looking ripped. Our fans are expecting the long-awaited return of the last kicker ever since WWE President Nick Khan announced that she'll be back soon. Well, it seems that Lynch is putting in hard work for her in-ring return, as Dead Boys Fitness, which is part owned by Seth Rollins, posted a picture to their social media page of Lynch deadlifting and looking in tremendous shape. Like she just had a baby a few months ago. That is incredible. And we can't wait to see her return, which could even be a Backlash. Next up, is AEW in trouble? It looks like there could be some serious backstage backbiting going on in All Elite Wrestling, as a number of news sites are discussing rumors that AEW's various vice presidents of Rhodes, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are no longer on the same page. According to Brian Last of the Jim Cornette podcast, Cody Rhodes is at odds with the other 3 executive vice presidents. Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp recently reported, "I've heard the rumors. I haven't heard that from any executives, but I've heard it's worth me asking about. It's not something that wrestlers are talking about, and it's not something I've been asked about a ton." Fightful Select reports that they've heard similar rumors, adding Pro Wrestling Torch's Wade Keller to the people fueling the rumors as he made this statement on his podcast. I know there are people in other wrestling companies saying that the Bucks and Cody and Kenny, it's not going to be long at all before they want to have nothing to do with each other. The honeymoon period is going to be short. It seems like it is. It seems like there's some disengagement and people going off into their own that is showing up in certain ways. The idea of wrestlers serving as executives in a wrestling company raised some eyebrows back when AEW formed, but it's worth mentioning that these rumors seem to have little to no substance to them. While it's possible they are true, one has to consider that Brian Last's association with Jim Cornette, a vocal AEW critic, may be a case of him stirring the pot. If AEW has experienced a crisis amongst its EVPs, Tony Khan needs to make sure it's resolved and it doesn't affect AEW. And finally, a huge free agent staying clear of AEW? If AEW is experiencing some infighting amongst its executive vice presidents, it may be keeping a big star from signing with the company. As fans know, there are a number of free agents on the market, including Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, and Samoa Joe. During a recent Pro Wrestling Torch podcast, Jason Powell commented, "If that is not happening, they need to clear up that misconception. I do think it's happening. There's a would-be difference maker who could go there that has that opinion that there's all this infighting, and this person for that reason is hesitant to go there. No wrestler wants to work for a promotion with a chaotic locker room, whether it's AEW, the WWE, or somewhere else. In my opinion, it could be CM Punk, as he did talk about some bad harmony going on in the company that's prevented him from signing up." Who do you guys think it is? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.